Hello, everybody. I'm Julie Schindler, your host of Florentina and Friends Storytime by SPEAKUp Events. And over the course of the last 4 months, we have hosted 32 story times for Florentina. And it has been such an amazing journey from the very beginning. And I want to take you through some of our chapters. And we've 4 months, 4 chapters. So we'll go with chapter 1 first and share with you a little bit of the behind the scenes of Florentina and Friends Storytime by SpeakUp Events. We started these story times in October. Well, they began in November, but when we met Florentina in October, we were creating a motivational charity event for her through SpeakUp Events. And during that, Florentina was undergoing treatments and was really struggling with her energy, struggling with her spirit. And we wanted to raise her energy and raise her spirits. So we created these story times for Florentina. And in the beginning, we had no clue what it was going to be. I live horizontally on a pillow after a box fell on my head 9 years ago. And I had found Florentina while I was volunteering as a coach and trainer for the Fearless Speaking Academy, which teaches men and women and children how to get over your fear of public speaking. And that is how we came across Florentina's footsteps and her fight for neuroblastoma. So before Florentina began, I had never done a live or hosted any type of events online. My journey back to social media really began with Clubhouse, which is an audio only app. And I found Clubhouse in April of 2021. And that began a journey of exploration and finding a purpose to my pillow. And meeting Florentina, it really clicked in a way to build a foundation where you can have other children stand up and speak up for neuroblastoma and speak up to the fight that they are fighting. And Florentina is our very first and the foundation of our entire platform. It's teaching Florentina how to speak up through her neuroblastoma and cancer journeys. And Florentina is almost 5 years old. When Florentina found out that she was diagnosed with neuroblastoma cancer, stage 4, which is highly aggressive, that was in May of 2021, 9 months ago. And it was 4 days before Florentina's 4th birthday. So that birthday became a blur for the Burton family as they were rushed into chemo treatments and finding ways to shrink the tumor that was growing on Florentina's kidney. The chemo was successful and the tumor was successfully removed, and it was a grapefruit-sized tumor that was on Florentina's kidney. With neuroblastoma cancer, every child in the UK, there's only a certain amount of treatments that are available in the frontline treatment system for neuroblastoma cancer. In cancer research, there is a new vaccine that has only been out for the last 5 years. And this vaccine is called the Bilevolent Vaccine. And the Bilevolent Vaccine eradicates neuroblastoma tumors in their patients, which keeps this disease from returning, and it allows these children a better chance of life. And with Florentina and the children like her fighting neuroblastoma stage 4 cancer, their percentage of life is at 40 to 50% without this vaccine. Without these additional treatments, our children that are fighting neuroblastoma cancer in the UK have a 40 to 50% chance of life without these extended treatments and trials that are in America and other places throughout the world. We have partnered with Florentina's Footsteps to raise the funds for the Bilevolent Vaccine for Florentina to receive after her frontline treatments end in August of this year. She's undergoing her last round of frontline treatments, which is immunotherapy. And we are on our round 2. And there's 6 total rounds of immunotherapy. So that'll take us through August. And we are looking to raise the additional 70,000 British pounds so Florentina can get on that list and get on that flight to New York following her frontline treatments at Great Ormond Street Hospital in London. So when we started our story times for Florentina, we didn't know what it was going to be or how long they would continue. We knew we wanted to make a little girl smile. So SpeakUp Events partnered with authors from around the world to come together and bring their storybooks to life for Florentina. And then it just grew. And over the course of the last 4 chapters, 4 months, and 32 episodes, we've had 12 unique authors from around the world that have come and read their stories for Florentina. And then these same authors with big, huge hearts have come back time and time again to read more bedtime stories to Florentina. It may be her favorite story, like we saw with the tiger who came to tea, or new treasures that we find along the way that can bring smiles and giggles to our little brave warrior who's fighting such a terrible disease. Our very first author was Miss Granny Mac from New Zealand. And before we kicked off our story times, Juju came to be. And Juju is this very sweet pink pig that I got to dress up in to make a little girl smile. So I'd like to take you down a look down memory lane in our very first chapter 1 of our Florentina and Friends story times. And this is Juju. And Juju is part of the barnyard that has come to join. We have seen Juju. We have seen her friends. Pete the shark had come. We've had a dinosaur who joined our barnyard. And at the end of November for Thanksgiving, the barnyard was out for a special treat for Florentina. And like I told you, I had never done a live or any type of childhood entertainment before starting Florentina and Friends, except for my own children who are grown now, and my nieces and nephews and godson. So being Juju really got to push me out of my comfort zone. And what's nice about it is that you don't see the neck brace, right? So you get to step into a whole new persona with Juju and to see Florentina laugh and smile and giggle along with this crazy, fun little pig. And then we went on to Miss Granny Mac, who joined us. And Miss Granny Mac is an author in New Zealand, and she has a very special friend. And Cecil came to town. And Cecil was our very first story to Florentina and Friends story time. Let's see if we can get Miss Granny Mac and Florentina. Get to see what Miss Granny Mac and Florentina are up to. So we have our beautiful Miss Flo, and I don't think she knew what to do with us. We were these crazy ladies on screen reading story times from 5,000 miles away. I live in Seattle, Washington, or a little town outside of Seattle, Washington called Puyallup, Washington. And we started our story times, and Florentina is in Braintree, London. So Miss Granny Mac came by and brought Cecil, and Cecil is a cute little lamb. Let's see if we can see Cecil. So Granny Mac and Cecil and Florentina. And Cecil was so worried about getting his hair cut. And Granny Mac walked us through the joys of being able to be a lamb and get your hair cut. And then we went on to our second story was Miss Sarah Mccammon. And Sarah is a college student in Idaho, Washington. And she's currently going to BYU, Idaho. And Sarah wrote a book. Her book was published in September of 2021, and it's called The Trash Can's Christmas. And what was so unique about Sarah's book is that I had started a journey with my own trash can of trauma and insecurities, and I call it my forgiveness journey. And I didn't know that Sarah had written this book that really illustrated what my forgiveness journey was when it came to my trash can. And Sarah stopped by to show that kindness matters in our world. And this holiday story was such a beautiful story to be able to start our holiday season with. In A Trash Can's Christmas, let's see if we can. And I've been very impressed with our streaming service that we've been using since we started Florentina and Friends. And it is called StreamYard, where you get to create these studios and these Storytime studios and have your authors and guests come in and join your story times. And this one was Sarah and Florentina. We got to see Florentina get to come to life with her story with our artist, with our author. And Sarah has been back a few times to read a couple additional stories to Florentina in her upcoming chapters. After Sarah, Miss Granny Mac came back for our third episode, and she read Florentina's favorite story, which was The Tiger That Came to Tea. Miss Granny Mac always brings the spice and the sizzle when it comes to her storytelling, and this was no exception. The Tiger Who Came to Tea is Florentina's favorite children's book, and her favorite stuffed animal and best friend is Tiggy. And Tiggy is the tiger from The Tiger Who Came to Tea. And Granny Mac has joined us multiple times throughout our story times, and she really is such an amazing heart and spirit. All the way from New Zealand, Granny Mac has published Cecil Gets a Haircut, and she has a lot of more books in her library. So if you haven't had a chance to check out Granny Mac on Instagram and Facebook and follow along Cecil's journey and all of his new friends, because there is Roxy's Best Day Ever that is soon to be coming out, and you get to meet all the friends on the barnyard. And this is Cecil. Juju has shown up a few times throughout our story times to change the color of what is going on in Florentina's world. So following our story times, Juju has been making stop-ins with her friends, Pete the Shark and a few of her dinosaur friends. And then our next author in our chapter 1 was Miss Carleen J. Froling. And Carleen has also been with us multiple times as in our Reading Rainbow. And the first story that we read was Pete the Shark. And Pete stopped by with Juju in his live costume to say hi. And this story was really special because Florentina had some friends with her, and her little cousin Enzo stopped by to read a beautiful story come to life with Pete the shark. And Pete was having a hard day determining how to show up as himself. And he got so many ideas from his friends of how to show up in the aquarium to meet all of the visitors. But he was scaring them, and no one wanted to take a picture with Pete. So Pete was able to find some really great friends that helped him show him how to be himself. And Florentina and Enzo got to join us for that story. After Miss Carleen, we had author Clay Anderson. He stopped by and joined the party. And Clay has a book called This I Know. And at the end of our story time, we actually sang a song together from the book. And Florentina got to meet Clay. Let's see if we can find our... There we go. Florentina got to meet Clay Anderson and his book, This I Know. And we also had some friends that joined us on that day as well. I think we had Florentina's cousins were with us. And as we got closer to in the United States, it was the Thanksgiving holiday. We were able to do some barnyard specials with Florentina. And Miss Granny Mac came by. And Miss Granny Mac read Harry McClary, Rumpus at the Vet by Lolly Dodd. And this was a really great story of a very mischievous little puppy. Oh, and look, Juju stopped by again. This was our barnyard special. We had a few friends that stopped by to say hello to Florentina and wish her and those around the world that were celebrating Thanksgiving. And then our story jumped in to, oh yes, Miss Jack stopped by. So ending our chapter 1 is Miss Jag, and Miss Jag stopped by to read Miss Imagination and the Farticorn, about the unicorn that farts. And this was such a great story. Florentina laughed and giggled along to Miss Imagination and the Farticorn. And let's see if we can... Let's see if we can get Miss Jag and Florentina. So Miss Jag and Miss Florentina got to read Miss Imagination and the Farticorn. And then we moved into December, which was our chapter 2 of bedtime stories for Florentina. And I look forward to sharing with you chapter by chapter and story by story as we look back and review our Florentina and Friends story time by SpeakUp events. We want to thank all of our authors and supporters that have helped us to get to this point. You have helped keep Florentina's energy and smiles up over the last 4 months, and we couldn't have done it without you. So thank you for following SpeakUp events. Thank you for joining our rainbow, and thank you for watching our story times with Florentina. We really do appreciate you and the love that you can give to our brave little warrior. Have a fabulous day, everyone.